things when it comes to science and technology. One thing I'd like to say that they are not necessarily uh, separate elements or different things. Science and technology, in my opinion, are conjoined twins. They have a lot of overlap between them. Obviously, in India, we have verticalized many degrees and many education in many ways. Big principles have come from people, from the technology, and one helps each other is a kind of philosophy, you can say. And therefore, don't see a segregation. Many times I have seen in engineering institutions the elements of what you call physics, chemistry, maths, or whatever were sidelined in form of a supplementary or add-on or supporting departments or courses or all that. I think those were wrong notions. And why I say wrong notions is, if I see most of the happening things today in the domain of growth, particularly combined together in science and technology, you'll probably see that computer is also very popularly known as computer science as a degree. We don't call it computer engineering necessarily, but many of us call it computer science and engineering, CSE. So there is a natural overlap which is there. The same thing you can possibly say for the biotech. The bio engineering is biosciences, also biotech, and there's a lot of commonality which is there in this domain also. The same thing when you go ahead, you'll probably see the materials things which are there. So materials also is a material science and materials technology or materials engineering related. In most of the top engineering institutions like, let's say, BHU or some IIT Kharagpur, you'll find materials department is called as a material science, but they are giving engineering degrees. There are large number of examples where you will see things overlap. In fact, all the verticals, wherever you'll see, there is an overlap between science and this. There is a strong connect between the two. Science may be more towards fundamental and engineering may be more towards the application. So that you have to keep in mind. Okay, and therefore don't distinguish and with your degree that I'm only going to be doing an engineering job or I'm only going to be doing some other job because I have a degree. Degree is just a stepping stone for all of you. Degree is just a pathway to begin with. Later you can keep changing. All right. And degree possibly will lose a little bit of importance in times to come. What you know beyond your first or second job will fetch you another job or will give you another opportunity to do well. After a certain time, no one is going to check degrees. I don't remember if anyone has checked my degree for last 30 years at all, that what did I study and where did I study and all that. Maybe some visa application or some other application you may attach your qualification is a different thing. But otherwise, the professional world has never gone into that what do I do and how much can I do. So there are this distinction between these verticals should go away. So wherever you get a chance to read and study, if science satisfies you, if engineering satisfies you, if a little bit on other related subjects satisfies you, try to choose them. That's something very important. So I'm sure your deans are here, and when they sit down, they must have already done under NEP. And when they sit down, they will make sure that there are enough electives available in a given framework of syllabus that you are able to choose some electives from the core specializations, some electives which may be related to engineering, and some may be even open electives. That means as an engineering student, I can even do a credit in music, let's say. But then if you see, music and electronics can have a lot of relation in terms of understanding, in terms of storage, in terms of processing, in terms of various things, editing and whatnot, filtering and whatever other things side. Electronics can have a strong relation. All right. So what I'm trying to say is that keep the doors for knowledge open in terms of what you want to learn and from where you want to learn. when I say from where you want to learn, while you are in ICFAI, you may learn many things. Obviously, all expertise will be here, but we are hundreds of students and all 100 minds cannot be alike. Some may think, no, I want to learn something. Then it comes to the courses like MOOCs or SWAM and things of that nature, open courseware. All those can be used. And those can also be credited here. So the open learning will become much better and you can make your own degrees, you can make your own courses also in certain cases. And most importantly, you can learn what you want to learn. I think that's the most important. Uh, it's something like this, that in your life, you wear the kind of clothes you want to wear in terms of color, combination, dress, this, that, you go and choose. You eat the food you want to eat. When you go to a restaurant, you decide what to eat. कहाँ मसाला ज़्यादा कम क्या किस टाइप का खाना Chinese, Indian, Italian, Mongolian, whatever you want, you decide. The same case should be true for your education, that you should be able to decide. Now, one can say that I am not so knowledgeable to do what I want to do. I understand that can always happen. But then, uh, when would you learn unless you try it? To swim, you'll have to jump into the pool and then only you can swim. And I don't think so. You have never been, if you have ever been told by your parents how to make friends, who will be good friends. Probably they didn't give you the education on sense of design and clothing. You have learnt it all by yourself by doing. The same thing happens in education also, that you can learn a lot of things by doing it yourself. All right. So a beauty with science and technology related course is that they become one of the most fittest set of, you can say, what you call graduates. Can anyone tell me a reason why you think they will be the most fittest set of graduates or most competent? When I say fit means fit for job, fit for doing something which they want to do. What will be the reason? Any particular reason? Can you identify why you think science and engineering graduates or technology graduates are more competent? Any guesses? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll take your answer partly. Please take your seat. Multidisciplinary courses are there, or a variety of courses are there. But I was looking even for a more specific thing. Yes, please. Yeah, there is one. Hmm. Okay. All together. Okay, fine. Yeah, take your seat. Fine. I'll again partly agree with your statement. Innovation can be in the food also. In if I'm a chef and I can do a lot of innovation and make dishes, may or may not be science, but yes, you are right that potential for innovation with science and technology becomes much more. So the answers which I was looking forward to for your competences, I say it as three elements. One of them is the language. Now, language can be an expertise of any graduate from science, technology, commerce, arts, or even without a formal degree, one could be a good expert in the language. They can speak very well, write very well. That can happen. So, language is one attribute which may be good with someone, which may not be good with someone. And most of the programs which we deliver do not do much in terms of improving that unless you are studying language itself. That's a very different thing that they can improve upon certain aspects. So language or communication or whatever you can say, your etiquettes, your public appearance, your behavioral aspects, these are all part of the communication, you can say. It can be good for anyone even without a formal study or a degree. But the other two attributes which I am going to tell you are going to be very strongly for science and technology. The number one is the analytical ability. The kind of courses you do, the kind of activities you do, or kind of reporting or analysis you do, or synthesis you do, helps you develop what you call the analytical abilities. And in today's world, you need that. You need to be an expert on the analytics to make decisions fast, because the decisions are going to be data based. And if data is there, you need to analyze the data. And this ability is directly or indirectly through formulas, through equations, through graphs, through certain studies we keep drawing, and then we draw conclusions from that. We draw inferences from that, and all that we do. And therefore, you'll find that analytical abilities are much more. Of course, we do a lot of courses related to logics, a lot of courses related to mathematics, a lot of things which are there in form of certain series. If something data is becoming long or more over a period of time, how to deal with that. Maybe something more on statistics is also there. All these things put together, our analytical abilities become much better. And therefore, we have an edge compared to a commerce graduate, or maybe an arts graduate, or any design graduate who might not do all that very nicely. The third thing, which is more important, is the ability to deal with the information technology related elements. An engineer or a scientist or a person from that background does much more of that and continuously gets engaged with the things. So you learn about programming, you learn about systems, you learn about architectures. Again, the logic also comes in there. So many other things which are there from one to another, and which helps you develop that ability. Many of your projects will be related to that. Many of such things will be there. And therefore, these are once again not there in those other graduates. And therefore, you develop, out of the three major skills, you develop two major skills which are in abundance in you compared to anyone else. And therefore, I say that an engineer has much more better potential for success in life, for employability, and for doing multitude of things. You may go to banking, you may become an entrepreneur, you may become a cricketer, you may become a politician. You probably see these days, right from Delhi to, let's say, Bihar, you'll see politicians are typically from engineering or science background. So basically, you become more able because of these things. And therefore, my suggestion to you is have a self belief that you have chosen a right path. You have come to a right stream, and you are belonging to that stream where everything is getting combined. Okay, as I said, the materials technology, the bio things, the computer science things. And when you go to the nano and nanoscience, once again, nanotechnology, the terms are being used interchangeably. Everything in manufacturing today is typically in that direction, that it's becoming small, or because it takes less power, it takes less material, it makes the cost less, it makes the functionality very different, so on and so forth. Therefore, you'll find that and these things really help you go further. So that's one thing which I wanted to convey to all the graduates here, or the would-be graduates here. The other thing, and by the way, this is a rule, unwritten rule in my family, not for now, probably for 50, 40, 50 years. Whatever one may decide to do in their career, in their plan, in their mind, is fine. But up to 11th or 12th, whatever was the stage at that time, it is compulsory for everyone to have this science as a background, maths as a background, because it gives you that strength to analyze and do things differently. After that, a lot of people have become lawyers or chartered accountants or whatever they wish to do, and they have done so. But fundamentally, it was required that the science should be taught and integrated. All right. The other thing which I wanted to tell you is we are living in an age which is called as a what you call age of knowledge, or era of knowledge, or century of knowledge, or maybe uh, again the same thing can be said for the data. Data is the new oil, and all that. People keep saying that data means data is very valuable, very easily sellable, or something which can really yield gold or maybe money out of it. And that's why its data is the new oil, is what we say. But and you know that in most cases, whatever you do, you keep generating data. Okay, whichever form you fill, whichever way place you register, whatever you listen and do, results in something called data. So data becomes very important. But from data, there are several stages which we have to understand. And that's where the little bit of shift is required from the engineering or the science side. I'll take you to the end to explain that. So data leads to information, which you agree. Information can be something has happened, something has not happened, something is present, something is not present, something like that you can do. And information, once again, we say what I said for the data is true for the information also, and possibly for the knowledge domain also, you can say. So data leads to information, and information possibly will lead to what you call intelligence, that you can extract something. Okay, if I sell this product at this price, probably my market value or my business turnover will be better, or my profit cycle will improve, or something else will happen. So you draw some intelligence out of that. I put my arms or army here, I'll be more safer rather than putting it here and there. Various things of intelligence are there. So that leads to intelligence. So data, information, and from there you get the intelligence. And from intelligence, if you have to go further, there are three more stages. One of them, according to me, would be what you call wisdom. Wisdom is something, uh, uh, foresight, maybe partly an intuition. Intuition may be very short term generally, so I don't use the term intuition. Wisdom. Wisdom is a foresight that what might happen in the future, what steps you have to take. So, from intelligence, collective intelligence, so many people sitting together in a meeting, they say, okay, 10 years down the line, this will happen, that will happen. Let's plan for this. This might be the challenge. So SDGs are a challenge. A lot of people sat together and trying to find an answer, and they've given certain directions for that. So if you can develop wisdom, you can be a winner. When you can have foresight, and most of the dynamic leaders, they think much ahead of time. That's the element which a leadership requires, I would say. And therefore, don't get stuck to your pure knowledge called data or information, which many of us would have. And even if you don't have, you can press the buttons here and you'll possibly get something very, very easily. But how to interpret it, how to apply it, and how to change it in the future, I think will tell you more about the success and the failures. And you see, in most cases, if some countries have progressed, possibly you can say that it is because of the foresight of their leaders. Uprightness and various other things are also required, but the foresight is also required. I may be a very nice person, but I don't have a foresight. I cannot take decisions to tell what to do for next 5 to 10 years. I will be in trouble. And those things have happened in various countries, including in India, that you require that. So you require wisdom. So that's fine. So I hope you agree. If you don't agree, doesn't matter, but you need to be at a higher level of thinking, applying, doing kind of a things, basically. Okay. Beyond that, you'll be surprised to know that there are now elements which are called relevance. What you do, is it relevant to you? Is it going to make difference to you? Is it going to be something useful to society? Is what you need to see. And therefore, whatever you do, whatever you study, there should be a relevance. While doing engineering, if you're learning music or playing sports, there should be a relevance that this sport will keep me fit, or this sport is where I want to start a new business or improve the technique or something like that is what I can possibly do. There should be a relevance in doing what you are doing. Right now, when you study a course, whatever the name may be, especially during my times, it was like that. We'll go to the class, the new semester is started, the teacher will come, he will name the subject, and then he'll tell these are the course contents, 5 paras, whatever these topics or whatever, and he'll start from the first para, first topic, he'll start explaining something. Now we don't know why this course is being taught to us. How is it relevant? Where would I apply this knowledge? I did a lot of mathematics in my first year and second year, but I hardly knew where this mathematics is going to be applied. And therefore, the relevance was not there. So my suggestion to you is, if in whatever you do in your life, particularly from people like us who are more logical, scientific in approach, data-centric and all, if you are ensuring your relevance, your output will be much better, is my opinion to you. And therefore relevance is something to be seriously thought about. Relevance is always there, that when you go to eat outside, you know that today I want this food, I want to taste this, I'm going for a trip outside India, I know that I want to see this monument and this place and this and that. So some relevance is there because it's there in your mind. Same thing should be applied to the education also. Same thing should be applied to every course you try to study, that relevance should be ensured. And in doing so, my suggestion to all the teachers and all the students alike, both sides are responsible for that. Ask questions and allow others to ask questions, irrespective of whether the question is good or bad. Do not bother about it. Simply write the question on the board and write down 5 questions, attempt with different students, different times. Let them express and ask a question. Asking question can also be tough. Answering question can equally be tough. All right. But write all that, and then slowly, gradually, you describe why one particular question probably is not a valid question. Don't say it's a bad question, and no question is a bad question. Just say why it's not valid, under what conditions it will not be valid, or whatever, why it is good, under what condition it is good, and so on. So when you know the why, when, how, what, where, for any topic you are studying, doing, researching, you will possibly be much better in terms of relevance. That's something very, very important in my opinion. So the relevance would also happen to you. And then finally, the sixth element. So remember, I talked about data, information, intelligence, wisdom, relevance, and I can give you an example to explain the last 2 points through a scientific example. So I've come to the relevance, which is the fifth number, and the last is the impact. Some of you, those who are applying for funding to various agencies for research, probably would have noticed in recent times they have started asking, what impact would it have on the outcomes, through the outcomes? How will it change the society? What new products it will develop? What new processes it will develop? How many patents will come out of that? Can you do technology transfer out of that? All these questions are being asked when you are asking for scientific project funding. अदरवाइज वी से कि हमारा टैक्स पेयर का पैसा वेस्ट हो गया, ऐसे ही डाल दिया आपने किसी के अंदर और उसका कुछ मतलब नहीं निकला. सो रिलेवेंस इज बिकमिंग वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट नाउ. So relevance once again connects science and technology to the social domain. Is it good for the common people? Is it going to be used by the common people? Relevance can be there, but impact may not be there. I give you an example. 20 years back, there was a attempt. India was very poor in the what you call the telephone connectivity, and so India started investing like what we are doing in semiconductors now. We invested in a project where a lot of companies of the world were coming together, including countries, and that was called as the Iridium project. Has anyone heard of the Iridium project? Iridium was a satellite-based project. It was supposed to be 77 satellites to be put in the lower Earth orbit, and that's why the name Iridium came from the numbers, atomic numbers and all that. But ultimately, it came out to be what you call 66 satellites under the Iridium. Somewhere in the late 2000, early 2000 or late 1990s, the Iridium got established. Those satellites were launched. It was meant for giving you mobile connectivity seamlessly. With one hop or 2 hops, you can connect to anyone in the world, including the polar regions and all that. And the whole thing was a technical marvel. Imagine 66 satellites going in the earth, above the earth and all that, doing all that. And then you are getting good connectivity. Everything was relevant because everyone needed a phone. Okay, even today it's relevant. But ultimately what happened was that it did not become a success. I myself used that telephone as a matter of try, but it didn't become a success purely because it was very much ahead of time. It was very costly also, and therefore the relevance was there, but the impact was not there. So there can be many technologies in the world which can come up, which can die away because of the relevance and impact. So please let the scientists and the scientific community should not be living away from what you call the society also. Okay, we cannot be in our isolated vertical that I'm an engineer and I'm a scientist. No, you need to connect with the people at large. So that's the message I'd like to give you. I think we possibly have the programs. I'll just use last 4 or 5 minutes. Please let people come. If experts want to come inside, let them come. Yes, I'll quickly finish in couple of minutes. Yeah, please come. So just a couple of minutes. So I would say that uh, as scientists and all that, some of us think that some technologies belong to us or some science belongs to us. This mobile, when it came in late 90s, I thought it's an electronic device. I'm an electronics engineer. But I would say that that was a foolish thought. This device, yes, it may have electronics. It requires electronics a lot, no doubt about it. But if you see the weight of this mobile, electronics will be much less physical. If you see the space of electronics in this, it will be much less. If you see the cost of electronics in this, again, this will be much less in the sense that probably 1/3 of the weight and volume is taken by the battery. Another some 20% might be taken by the displays which are there, and they are all material based, fabrication based, and various other things which are there, sensing based, touch based, whatever, all those things. So life is a very complex things when it comes to doing such things, and therefore if you want to be successful, then you'll have to do those complex things rather than keeping a single thing. For electronics, there is only one chip inside these days, which may be 40, 60 pin, and which can be mass produced and which can do the functions which you program it for. And therefore, yes, electronics are important, but I'm not saying that it's not important. But this is not purely an electronic device today. It has many things. A lot of computer science related things are there in terms of functions and apps and whatnot, or whatever those are there, security issues and codings and translations and whatnot is there. Anyway, so these are examples to tell you that you have to widen your horizons as you go along from science and technology. And one last word, of course, is AI. Do you think AI belongs to science people or technology people, or it belongs to language people, or it belongs to someone else? I would say to everyone. Okay, I'll simply say that AI is going to be a common salt or common element in everything you do in your life. If you have done enough in AI to know about it, it's good. If you have not done enough, it's time that you start doing it. You start learning about it because it will be important for your survival, maybe for your normal work also. And I can only simply give you the positioning of the impact of AI by saying that what happened 100 years back to all of us by development of what you call the machines and the motors and the hydraulics, these things came. And with that, what happened? Life changed significantly. We didn't have to dig holes or remove earth and take something on our head at the top for construction and all that. Everything was mechanized. So what it did, it substituted our physical power. It substituted or helped our physical power, that we can use our physical power for other work rather than doing what we call donkey's job, basically, that just carrying the baggage from here to there. So there are many ways in which it can be done. So it became substitute for our physical power. 100 years down the line now, you can say that our mind was also doing a lot of routine things. A lot of obvious things are being done regularly by us. And again, once again, those are not required. So this has now become, as a, you can say, the mind power or thinking power, you can call it, rather than the physical power. It has become the power of the mind which has come. And therefore, for routine chores, for routine activities, you don't have to do any such things. You had to apply a lot of time, energy to do that. Imagine a legal case and the verdict has come. Generally, the verdicts are 50, 20, 100 pages, which are there. Now, you have to read it, and then you have to do the abstraction to tell your boss that what is there in it, what is right and wrong. It will take a lot of time, and it may be full of mistakes. Also depends upon your mood, your these things. But suddenly, AI tools can make sure that this mental exercise which you're required to do possibly could be done by the machines like 100 years back. The physical power was improved. Now the mental power is improved, is what I can possibly say. And therefore, AI is going to be integrated in everything which you do. Yes, you may be more relaxed. You may be thinking more out of box. You may be doing more innovation. You may be doing things which you like to do. That's fine. But why should you unnecessarily run around reading pages after pages if you are not interested? So AI, for example, can do one thing. You have something as a big book and someone is recommended. Well, I can recommend you. You may think what Professor Sancheti has done is right or wrong. You don't know. But AI can give you a summary. And from that summary, you can probably know whether to go ahead with that or not. So that's the power of AI in terms of assisting you. But I must also, on the lighter side, say that keep using your mental power, also ability. Don't leave it to the AI, because if you like what has happened is, for physical power, we don't do enough physical work, so we go to gyms, the physical gyms, and do the exercise and keep the running and other exercises there. If the same thing happens for the mental power, you'll have to go to mental gyms, which is what we do not want. We certainly need to keep ourselves very alert and very able and very agile. I think scientific community or technology community is generally very good at it. So I'm pretty sure that all of you are going to do wonderfully well for yourself, for your country, for your institutions, for your family and everyone. My best wishes to each one of you for doing whatever you wish to do in your life. I'm sure you'll bring a lot of laurels to all of us. Thank you so much.